Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful out there. Thank you for making Patriots No Huddle a daily part, a weekly part of your Patriots coverage, coming to you from courtesy of PatsFans.com. So make sure to subscribe, lock in, make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcast to make sure that you're getting the latest episode of Patriots No Huddle as soon as it's available. I'm Mike D'Abate alongside my Patriots Paisan, my esteemed co-host, Steve Balestrieri. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Hey, the NFL this year has been absolutely crazy. I've watched the game on Monday night, and I mean, you talk about some bizarre plays in that one. I mean, there were 3 turnovers on one play. I mean, when do you see that, right? And it was insane. And I think right now the Patriots, look, we're talking about them winning the AFC East if they beat the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Who would have thought that? I mean, going back to, I think, this spring, early summer, we talked about right here that we'd be happy if they competed for a playoff spot. And now they're pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot. And the opportunity here on, week 15, 14, whatever, 15, yeah, right? Playing for a championship. Hat and T-shirts.
Absolutely. Just don't tell that to Mike Vrabel. He doesn't like the hat and T-shirt term. He doesn't want to throw that around. No, he didn't like that. He didn't like that. But at the same time, it is. The Patriots have an opportunity to clinch their 22nd division title in history. Since the 1970 season anyway, since they officially became the New England Patriots, their first division title since the 2019 season, and their 29th playoff appearance would be clinched at that point by securing the division. Of course, Pats fans, the Patriots looking to extend their winning streak to 11 wins, hosting the Buffalo Bills, the second meeting of the season between these two bitter division rivals. And if you've been on social media lately, you know exactly how bitter this one can get. Expected to get worse in the coming days. And if you think that's something, just wait until the aftermath of this one. Yeah, it's going to get ugly between Pats fans and Bills fans, but we wouldn't have it any other way. Sunday Night Football. The last time these two teams met, October 5th, the 23-20 New England victory. That was at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. Patriots playing in the friendly confines of Foxborough, Massachusetts this week, and a lot on the line. And Steve, let's dive right into that because obviously it is the story of the week. It's been the story of the last 2 weeks here. Patriots coming in fresh off a bye of a Week 14. Much needed respite, I guess is the best way to put it when it comes to the New England Patriots. You look at what this team brings to the table. And you look at everything that they've done up until this point, and it's hard not to get excited about the fact that the Patriots do have a chance to run the table the rest of the way and potentially go into the playoffs as a real juggernaut. But the Buffalo Bills, I think, reminded everyone, especially in the second half of that Cincinnati Bengals game over Week 14, they are still the Buffalo Bills. They are still formidable. Josh Allen is still a force to be reckoned with. That run defense is a little better than it was. That pass defense is light years above where they were at this time when the Patriots played them in October. And really, I think a huge leap, maybe a complete 180 since the start of the season. Things have been clicking for Buffalo a little bit more. So before we get into the positives, let's start off and get the negative thoughts out of the way. You're the Patriots. You're looking at the Bills on film. You're preparing for them all week. What worries you about this Buffalo Bills team coming into town this week?
It has to be Josh Allen, right? I mean, has to be. I mean, you saw him basically take over that game on Sunday. I mean, he had the 40-yard, I think it was 40-yard touchdown run. And his scrambling ability, his ability to make plays on the run. I mean, that's why he was the MVP last year. And,
right.
I've always been a big fan of Josh Allen's. I obviously won't be on Sunday, but no, I've always been a big fan of his. I think he's fantastic. And this is what Drake May wants to aspire to be, right? He wants to be a Josh Allen type. And as we are familiar about saying here, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And the Bills, I thought, showed on Sunday in that second half that they aren't going to go gentle into that good night. They're going to stick around and be a force to be reckoned with. That sets up a really intense football game on Sunday. And look, I mean, I thought the Bengals were going to pull the upset there for a while, and then of all times
like
for
it.
Joe Burrow to melt down, he melted down in that fourth quarter, and Josh Allen did not. And if it had gone the other way, I'd be sitting here ready to do the dance because I think the fat lady would be warming up. But it was the opposite. And I think when you look at this Buffalo team, it's Josh Allen. They have a good defense. Their defense is playing much better now. They have skill position guys. They have their role players, but it all stems to Josh Allen. And he's the guy the Patriots have to be able to slow down on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in years past, when these two teams have played one another, what do you try to do with Allen in order to make him uncomfortable? Well, if you force him outside the pocket and you get him to roll to his right, he's as deadly as any quarterback that's ever played the game. And that's how much respect I have for Josh and what he's been able to do with that Buffalo team. So you definitely don't want to do that. You almost want to force him and keep him in the pocket, make him one-dimensional, keep him immobile, and that will force him to try to beat you through the air. And that's where this Patriots secondary could have some success. So I completely agree with you when it comes to Josh Allen, zeroing in on him and him being the type of weapon that can beat you in so many different ways. Because if he's on, it opens up so much for the running game and allows James Cook to be able to run from different lanes and allows him to be able to play more of a backfield receiver, which some may argue is a better weapon for him than actually being a bell cow back and carrying the ball on the ground. We saw that when he was with the University of Georgia. Steve, you and I absolutely love this kid coming out of college, and a big tip of the cap to our man Murph, who really, I think, was beating the James Cook drum all the way along when we were sharing the airwaves on another podcast network, and we were talking about the fact that James could be, there for the Patriots if they played their cards right in that draft. James has definitely elevated this team without any question. And the other part of that is they have a very strong, too tight-headed monster that I want to get back to in just a moment, because Dawson Knox is also someone that can help their top tight end, Dalton Kincaid, and that could cause some problems for the Patriots, who have had some difficulty defending tight ends. But if we're talking the factor that I think may worry me the most about the Bills, is the Bills are now coming in to this building on Sunday with an awful lot of confidence. They took the best shot that the Cincinnati Bengals had, and they put it back out there on them. Now, I know Cincy has had their issues. This is not on paper a great defense, although they've been playing much better. It seems like they had their wake-up call against the Patriots in the last 3 weeks. This has looked like a competent level. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? Got to give a shout out to our buddy Chris, who's watching us live. Thank you so much, my friend. But getting back to this the situation with the Bengals and the Bills now know that they can take a shot. They can go down by a good amount and keep coming back, claw their way back. And this is a type of win that strong teams, battle-tested teams, especially in the postseason, can build upon. They smell blood in the water. They know that the Kansas City Chiefs, their kryptonite the last few years, may not even make the playoffs this year. So in that regard, they are putting their foot to the pedal. They got the pedal to the metal, my friend, and they are going to try to do everything that they can to knock the Patriots off of their pedestal right now. So when a team that is playing as well as the Bills are have a confidence boost like they had on Sunday night, or on Sunday, I should say Sunday afternoon, that's going to work wonders for this club. It's absolutely going to work wonders for this club. So I worry a little bit about the momentum factor and the Bills coming in. They've got revenge on their mind. They want to prove that 23-20 loss to the Patriots back in week 5 was a fluke. We all know here in New England it wasn't, but that's what they want to prove. Sometimes outside motivation can be the most deadly weapon you can bring into a football game. That's what worries me about this Buffalo Bills team.
Yeah, and look, I mean, this Buffalo team, they've won the division the last 5 years in a row. They're not just going to hand it over to New England and say, "Well, yeah, well, you guys beat us twice, and now you got the division this year." No, I mean they have a lot of pride in that locker room. And look, I listened to some Buffalo podcasts earlier in the week, and the confidence level is through the roof for them. They're not intimidated by the Patriots' 11-2 record. In fact, what I was listening to, they said because of Kansas City's struggles and the possibility, like you just mentioned, that they might not even make the postseason, that the postseason is lining up for the Bills to go all the way to and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And again, they're a preseason pick. This is a team that we both agreed was still the class of the AFC East, still the class of the AFC. Like you said earlier, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And if you ever want to measure your maturity, folks, for those of you that are mine and Steve's age, appropriate, if you can complete that phrase without giving us a woo, yeah, you're getting a little more mature as time goes on. It took every bit of self. How do I put this? It took every bit of, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Every bit of self-control, every bit of self-fortitude to prevent myself from doing that, but I'm glad I did. In any case, yeah, the Bills are not fearing the New England Patriots right now because they've been to the puppet show. They've seen the strings. They know what this team can do. And in that regard, yeah, that's something that will intimidate you. And when you throw in, like you said, and you start getting into the logistic arguments of why the Bills are coming in with some confidence here, the player Josh Allen has to be the top of the heap. It has to be the most important thing that you're doing. Your mission in life on Sunday is to contain Josh Allen, to throw him off his game, chip him, do whatever you need to do to disrupt his rhythm and his flow, because if he starts getting into it and feeling it, it doesn't matter if this game is in Orchard Park, New York, or if it's in Foxborough. He's capable of being able to beat you in both places. So Patriots have to make sure that they're zeroed in on number 17. We talked a little bit earlier about James Cook and about his prowess as a runner. The Bills' receiving core has not been overwhelming this year, but you're starting to see a little bit better play from some of these guys. They're starting to get a synergy together with Allen, and it's starting to make things happen. But I think if you're not talking about Josh as a weapon himself, I think arguably their greatest asset is having two very capable tight ends. Someone in a Dalton Kincaid who is a phenomenal pass catcher, excellent with yards after the catch, a prototypical pass catcher that can really make things difficult for you. And then you've got someone like a Dawson Knox who is so good at sitting down in those soft zones, coming out of the flat, and being able to be a weapon for you in the intermediate areas of the field. As a nod to our great friend over in West Midlands in the UK, the illustrious Miss Claire Cooper. Steve, how worried are you about the tight endage factor that the Buffalo Bills are bringing to the table this week?
Well, they, as you just mentioned, they have two outstanding tight ends in the passing game. I think, as Patriots fans, we love our own two tight ends, but you have to respect that. And as you mentioned earlier, the Patriots have struggled covering tight ends this year. And now they're facing a two-headed monster with Buffalo. And I think, look, if I'm Josh Allen, I get into a passing situation, that's where I'm looking first to see if the Patriots can cover those guys up. I know that, Cook is who he is, and that running game of Buffalo's is, incredible. But I think it's going to come down to who's better at throwing the football, just as Sundays did. I mean, I looked at that game on Sunday, and it came down to the passing game. Both teams, I thought, ran the ball pretty well. But, when it came down to it, Josh Allen answered the bell, and, Joe Burrow kind of spit the bit. So, And again, I look at those two tight ends attacking the seams, and I think the Patriots are going to have the same kind of game plan. I think the Patriots are going to attack the seam, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But I totally agree with you. I think this two tight end, tandem that Buffalo has, that should be a primary focus, not to the extent of Allen, but you have to be able to not say take it away, but you have to tone it down.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agreed. And that leads me to my next question, because as we all know, your expertise is defense. Your expertise is protection. And the Patriots are going to need that, especially from their secondary when it comes to defending these tight ends. Got Craig Woodson playing very well, playing the workhorse in that secondary right now, without any question. You've got guys like Del Pettis, Jalen Hawkins, who are not afraid to get in there and thump with the best of them. You've also got linebackers that can play that hybrid position. Marte Mapu can mix it up in there. How do you look at the Patriots attacking this group? Or do we look for maybe Carlton Davis to get his time against someone like a Dalton Kincaid? If you're the Patriots defensive coordinator, what are you trying to do to keep this Buffalo passing game in check?
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is your linebackers have to try to knock them off of their rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chip them at the line. The Patriots did that on occasion with Travis Kelce, back during the Brady era, right? They would try to chip Kelce at the line to take away that timing, and I think that's one of the things that they might set out to do. I know Mike Vrabel is a different animal than Bill Belichick is in regards to the way they approach the defense, but I think that's worth looking at, right?
Yes.
Try to disrupt the timing and chemistry right there off the line, by trying to hold these guys up. You don't want to give them a free release. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree. And again, if you're taking out the tight endage and you're putting pressure on the pass catchers, that also leads you to believe that the Patriots have to be aggressive in this new form of defense, this 3-4 set that they play, and they play very well, getting after the quarterback, making sure that he's off balance, and trying to make things difficult for Josh Allen. Now, last time these two teams played, Milton Williams was healthy and played a very key role in that defense. It allowed guys like Christian Barmore to be able to accept the double team a little easier because you weren't sure which one was going to step up and be the pass rusher of the two. It allows guys like Harold Landry and Caleb Von Chason to get after the quarterback, get around that corner, and be able to put pressure. Milton's not going to be in the lineup this time. Khyiris Tonga returning to the practice fields. We're encouraged by what we see. Ultimately, Sunday is when we're going to find out whether or not he's going to be able to go, but it looks like he should be okay. How important is it for him to play in this game? And are you having any concerns right now about the Patriots' defensive front going up against this Buffalo team?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, I think having Tonga in the mix on Sunday is really important because you don't want to hand the Bills easy third down conversions, right?
Absolutely.
If you're 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, those set you up for failure. All right, that means they're going to be able to extend drives, and the way to do that is to slow down the running game, which their running game is outstanding. We talked about Cook, we talked about Josh Allen. The Bills can run the football on anybody. But if you're able to keep them at 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, they're not going to be able to have those layup third downs. So I think having Tonga back is imperative for that. I think this bye week couldn't have come at a better time. Harold Landry's been gimped up with a knee injury. Caleb Von Chason has played really well this year. But I think the key for them guys this week, obviously, being healthier is a big factor. But the other thing is they have to be aware that they can't go past Allen.
Right.
We've seen this time and again where teams are in such, they're so focused on getting after him
that they run past him. And as soon as you do that, we know he's going to take off. And if you're playing man coverage, it's going to go for quite a long ways. And we saw that with Cincinnati. Allen saw an opening. They were playing man coverage, and there was a huge hole that he took for 40 yards and a touchdown. So they have to be cognizant. And I think this week, the key is keeping him in the pocket and while squeezing it shut. I mean, you're going to have to rely on your secondary to hold their coverages a little bit longer. But I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is the way to go. And look, it'll help every aspect of that defense to be able to have them playing solid, excuse me, on all three levels. Every level playing well always helps the other. And again, you mentioned guys like Christian Gonzalez. You need someone like that to step up and be the alpha defender that we know he can be. And hopefully that'll keep the powers that be in Buffalo off their game for just a minute. Because that's exactly what they're going to need to be able to hang with this team that's going to come in pumped up and ready to go. Before we start getting accused of being all pro Buffalo here, Steve, because this is not all one-sided. The Patriots are not coming in to slay Goliath this time around. They're a Goliath in their own right. The Patriots are 11-2 right now, riding a 10-game win streak, playing with anybody. I don't buy into the soft schedule argument. I think it's lazy because you're playing your competition. The Patriots are doing exactly what they should be doing with this schedule. And they're playing at a level right now that leads you to believe that they're ready for mostly anything that could be thrown at them. As you look at this team, as you look at the Patriots, the way they're currently constructed, what gives you a lot of optimism that they can not only take it to the Bills this weekend, but earn the season sweep on them and take home those hats and T-shirts in the process?
Yeah. Well, two reasons. Number one is Mike Vrabel. I think Vrabel has really been able to resonate with his players, right? I mean, we've seen it from day one. These guys, they all believe in each other. They believe in what he's preaching, and I think that goes a long way, right? I think that that message, and I liked how he kind of broached the subject with the team for the first time last week. A couple of times he mentioned, hey, they played like champions today. And he talked about, this is an opportunity to play for a championship. That resonates with especially a young group of guys that's learning how to win. And the other, and a huge factor for the Patriots, it's just like the Bills with Josh Allen, is Drake May. Drake May has before our eyes turned into an elite quarterback, and I don't throw around that term lightly. I mean, there's virtually no holes in his game, and we've seen it. I mean, teams play cover one, cover two. They want to blitz him. He's been able to weather all of those storms, and the fact that I think our preseason analysis of our wide receivers and pass catchers was a little off of the mark. I think these guys are a lot better than we gave them credit for. But I think with Drake May, I think he gives the Patriots that same advantage that Allen does with the Bills. Because if you blitz him, he can beat you with his arm. And if you're playing man coverage, you better be aware of where he's at on the field because he can take off and run with it. So these are all the things that I really like what they're doing this year. And Josh McDaniels, I saw he did a couple of interviews, and he raved about how May has done all the hard work this year. And he's made himself into an elite quarterback. And, I think going into this game, the Patriots have to be extremely confident. Look, we can go in. We've already proven we can beat them in their own house. Now we're going to do it again. And I think that, their confidence level has to be off the charts too. They've won 10 in a row.
Of course, absolutely. And it should be. Their confidence should be high because the Patriots did defeat this team the last time they both played one another. 23-20 victory in week 5, as I said, to open the show. A lot of people consider that game to be Drake's entrance into the MVP race. Like, it really began for real at that point and made everyone stop and take a look at him and say, wow, you know what? This kid's playing really, really high-level football, composure under pressure, late-game leadership. I think that allowed him to make some plays down the stretch. And if you look up what this kid did and how he was able to do it, just take a look at the 37-yard game-winning drive that he put on the Bills. That allowed Andy Borregales' 52-yarder to ice the game and to win the game for the Patriots. 5 scoring drives in that game, and it was a national stage. Drake was asked to deliver. He was able to deliver, and he was able to deliver in a hostile environment against a team that everyone had basically anointed as one of the top 2 teams in the AFC. To me, when you have that kind of confidence in your quarterback to go out there and to do it again, that says a lot. And you hear Mike Vrabel this week. You hear Josh McDaniels this week. You hear Drake's teammates this week. They're all confident that he can reinvent himself, account for the adjustments that Buffalo is absolutely certain to make, and be able to make them pay for it. That's something that veteran quarterbacks that have been in the league years and years playing at elite levels will get. Very seldom do you see a second-year quarterback get that kind of respect. He's getting it from his teammates. And I can say this, he's getting it from the Buffalo Bills as well. You hear it in the way they're talking about him. You even hear it in the way Bills Mafia is talking about Drake May. They know this kid's the real deal. And I think that should serve as a source of enthusiasm for the Patriots heading into this matchup. Can't say enough about this quarterback matchup. It's going to be so fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, look, we know that he has the physical talents, right? He's mobile. He can run. He's got the size. He's got the cannon arm. We know all that. But the leap he's taken this year has to do with his ability to read coverages pre-snap and post-snap and make those decisions quickly. Like last year, as a rookie, he had some issues, as all rookie quarterbacks do. It took him a little while to process things, right? Mm-hmm. He's not having that issue this year. He's put the work in, and it's made his job so much easier, right? And like Tom Brady used to say, he has the answers to the test. Mm-hmm. And and that, I mean, that all comes with pre-snap and post-snap reads, and he's been able to do that. And that's the thing that has set him up for so much success this year. So I think the Patriots have to be sky high for this one. And and I look at it, and I totally agree with you. Buffalo respects him. Mm-hmm. They don't think that Drake May is a fluke, right? I think they know what, because they've watched him through the this season. They've seen what other teams have tried to do and how he's been able to defeat it. And I think this will be another game where Stephon Diggs will be sky high for. But again, I think this is the Hunter Henry game.
Absolutely. Led me to my next question, but you can tell we've been doing pods together for a good long while. Steve and I still have a synergy. Not as long as you and Derek have been doing pods. That's half of the same brain level brain waves right there. But Steve and I are getting there. We're getting close. Hunter Henry obviously has been a tremendous asset for Drake May this year. You hear the term security blanket, which I don't really like the term, but I understand what they mean by it. But you hear good old reliable, someone who does his job, does it well, and can always be counted on to come through when needed most. You look up that type of description, and Hunter Henry's picture is going to pop up if you're looking it up in an NFL term. Big week coming off of this week. He's the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for the New England Patriots for all the work that he does in the community. That is so well deserved, and I want to give him a tip of the cap for that. But bottom line, what this guy can do on the field and change the type of complexity and the way that this Buffalo team is going to defend you. How effective do you believe the Patriots tight endage tandem of their own can have some effect against this Buffalo Bills team, not just with Henry, but Austin Hooper as well?
Oh, absolutely. Again, I mean, I watched that game on Sunday. Again, I keep referencing that because that game interested me a great deal with Joe Burrow back. I thought that the Bengals would give the Bills a really tough game, even though I picked Buffalo to win that. I thought that was going to be a really close game, and it ended up being exactly that. And at the end of the game, I watched when Joe Burrow needed to get after it, he attacked down the seams with his tight ends. And that's why I believe the Patriots will do the same. If I believe that, like the Patriots, if Buffalo's defense has a weakness, it's down the seam. And I think this is a tailor-made game for Hunter Henry.
Mhm.
And, I think that, Drake May will be looking, obviously, to take a couple of shots, as he has all season long, with, Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte. Of course, Stephon Diggs is your chain-moving guy, but I just think Hunter Henry has the ability to take this one to that next level for the Patriots offense.
Oh, yeah, without any question. And whenever you need that shot in the arm, Hunter is usually the guy that can provide it for you. And again, I like the fact that you mentioned Stephon Diggs. And I know a lot of people are going to zero in on him as a focal point for their coverage heading into this game. But the Bills are going to be zeroing in on him. They don't want him to have another century mark of 100 yards receiving against them this year. And again, give Stephon the bragging rights. They're going to try to do everything they can to take him out of the game, which means that a reliable pass catcher for Drake May needs to step up and be there, especially if they're going to have uncertainty in the offensive line. And I don't mean to bring anything negative up about the line, because I think the line played tremendous in their last game against the New York Giants. You're missing the entire left side. Vidarian Lowe and Ben Brown gave you everything you could possibly ask for and more. I thought Vidarian against the Giants was excellent. We talked about this the last time that we regrouped here on Patriots No Huddle. But again, to quote Ric Flair, once again, you did it once. Now let's see you do it again. Now let's see you do it against the Buffalo defensive front that is more aggressive, that is loaded with a little bit more talent. And they're hungry to get after Drake May. Do you have any concerns about this offensive line, whether the Patriots get Jared Wilson back or not? How difficult do you think this could be of a test for Vidarian Lowe, who is now going up against a Super Bowl caliber defensive line?
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's always a concern, right? You don't want your quarterback under duress like we saw Justin Herbert on Monday night, or whoever plays the Houston Texans, right? I mean, that is a recipe for turnovers when your quarterback is under duress like that. I think it's a legitimate concern, but I also believe, like last week, I thought Josh McDaniels came up with the game plan. Hey, look, we're going to get the ball out quicker. We're going to still take our shots, but at the same time, we're not going to be letting plays develop for too long back there, and keep that Buffalo pass rush down to hopefully a minimum. I think it's a legitimate concern. I thought Vidarian Lowe really accounted for himself extremely well last week. He wasn't going against some fly by night kind of guy. He was going against Brian Burns, right?
Yes.
13 sacks on the year coming into that game. So as much as we criticized him a year ago, you have to give him credit where it's due. And going against a guy like Burns, I think again that has to set you up with with a lot of confidence going in. Thankfully, they don't have Ed Oliver for this game, so
Right.
that's a big factor for the Patriots. Just like they're missing Milton Williams, Buffalo's missing Ed Oliver. So that and that aspect, it kind of evens itself out.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess from the week's practices, starting with the practice that will probably taking place as we speak right now on Wednesday afternoon, guys like Joey Bosa, Terrell Bernard, there are a lot of questions as to whether or not this could be the week they make their returns, their long-awaited returns to the Bills lineup, and find out exactly what type of strength the Patriots are going to be going up against on the offensive side of the ball. When it comes to defense for the Bills, they're going to be ready, and they're going to be ready to go. Something that I've been waiting to pick your brain on this week, Steve, is an old friend coming back here to Foxborough this week in a manner that not a lot of us would have foreseen a few weeks ago, but it makes a lot of sense. Buffalo Bills putting in a claim on former Patriots receiver Brandon Cooks. Right now is kind of splitting time in the slot with Gabe Davis, but we know Brandon can be a guy that can burn you. And we always find storylines in these types of revenge games where a guy that used to wear your uniform comes in and makes you remember what it was like to watch him when he wore your uniform. Any chance that Brandon could factor in as a potential offensive factor for this game, especially as a talent or a target for Josh Allen?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen him do it for a number of years now. I do believe that he's definitely on the downside. I don't think he's the player that that we saw when he was with the Patriots several years ago. I think he's again, his skills are eroding. He's not the same guy anymore. But I'm not going to discount him because that the passion still burns deep with guys like that. So can they get themselves fired up for one big game and and do what needs to be done when the opportunity avails itself? Yes, but I don't think he is going to be or would be a big factor in this one. I mean, I just think his skills have eroded to the point where he's not the same player. Now, never say never when it comes to one big play here or there, but I would kind of bet against that.
I agree with you. I do. I think that there's a lot of reasons to believe that he was made available for a reason, whether or not he really wanted to catch on with a contending team or not. I know teams are territorial, and if he's that valuable, you don't want to take the risk of him going out and being available to other teams. So I agree with you on him being on the downslope, but those little moves always kind of stick underneath my fingernails, and I always look at it and say, is this going to come back to bite them? Definitely something to watch this weekend. Not something to keep a sharp eye on. I wouldn't go quite that far just yet with the impact that Brandon Cooks could have on this game, but something to definitely monitor as the Bills offense starts to get going. And Steve, that leads me quite nicely into my final question on the Bills before we go around the league a little bit and talk about some of the matchups that are happening, and then we give our game prediction here on Patriots No Huddle. If we're talking X factors, players that don't necessarily get a ton of headlines but can really be a deciding factor or part of the deciding factors when it comes to this one, on offense, on defense, who are your X factors heading into Week 15?
Well, for the Patriots, my X factor offensively has to be Travion Henderson, right? Now, when they played earlier, he was still kind of trying to find his way. As a pro, I mean, at that point he hadn't played much. He didn't have a whole lot of production just yet. I think we've watched him grow over the course of the season. And I think that especially in the passing game, he could be in line for a big game. Much like, again, we're comparing the teams like the Bills use Cooks, the Patriots can use Travion Henderson in the passing game. I think, in defensively, I think Marcus Jones, because not only
defensively, but on special teams, I think he could be a big X factor because, again, you're looking at the Bills. They like to work their guys out of the slot, and I think that will be a big factor in this game. I think Marcus Jones has proven himself to be quite the football player. I think he's coming into his own, and that this could be a really big game for him.
I agree with you on that. You took the words right out of my mouth when it came to Marcus Jones being the defensive X factor, because I think there's so many ways that this guy can hurt you, whether it be in the return game. I think he is going to be a factor on defense, and whether it's Brandon Cooks or whether it is Gabe Davis that he's matched up against in the slot, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this guy defend and see what he can do when the chips are down, and the Patriots absolutely, want to make sure they're taking home the hardware in this game. It's not a must-win for the Patriots' defensive hopes. It's not even, or playoff hopes. It's not even a must-win for their divisional hopes. They still can win the division and lose this game, but you want to take care of business when you have the chance to. And if the Bills are on the ropes in any fashion, the Patriots need to deliver a knockout blow. I think Marcus Jones can be the guy. I'm going to go a little against the grain here and say another guy that I think you should keep a little bit of watch on that could be an X factor that not a lot of people are talking about, and maybe they should heading into this game, is Del Pettis, the reserve safety that can come in, provide a couple of quick hits, especially if the Patriots need help defending tight ends. This guy's got the pop, and he has the ability to make plays when needed. I know our good friend Paul Peters is a big fan of Del Pettis. We're going to make him happy by this mention. Hopefully, he'll do us proud. So a tip of the cap to my friend, my fellow Smithfielder from Rhode Island, now making his home south of the Mason-Dixon. But bottom line, I think Pettis could be someone to keep an eye on. For the Patriots' offensive X factor, I'm looking at Ramondre Stevenson. And the reason why I'm looking at Ramondre is because temperatures are going to be cold no matter what. I mean, they probably won't be frigid. The weather forecast right now calls for typical New England late fall, early winter weather, and that's exactly what you're going to get in Foxborough this week. But Ramondre needs to be able to carry the rock, and he needs to be able to do it effectively and reliably. If he's able to hold on to the ball, keep his head about him, and not turn the ball over, that is such an amazing factor for the Patriots heading into the playoffs, because it shows that their running game is reliable, and it gives Drake May an outlet if he's struggling to find open receivers or if he's struggling to get the offense moving. You always use the running game to lean on, because that opens up play action and allows him to be able to do his thing. And Drake has done such a great job of that this year. So for me, Ramondre Stevenson having a big game on the ground, not necessarily getting into the end zone every 2 moments or having a big splash play, which I think Henderson is capable of providing. Ramondre needs to be your steady presence, and that's why I'm going with him as an X factor. For the Buffalo Bills, I think it's I think there are a number of different players that could fit this bill. If you're looking on the offensive side of the ball, I'm really zeroing in on running backs this week, because I think this is going to be a run-heavy game plan from both teams. Ray Davis, right now, I think is one of the best reserve runners and / dual threat type capabilities that you'll see anywhere in the NFL. So keep an eye on him. Ray Davis is a guy that can move the needle either way. On defense, he's not really an under-the-radar player, but I think Christian Benford as their corner, as their right side corner, is going to be a huge factor in this game. Who does he get matched up against? Who does he shut down? Can the Patriots exploit his weaknesses a little bit? If they can, I like their chances of being able to put points up. But if he's not able to, that really locks things down for Buffalo. So those are my choices on the Buffalo Bills. Steve, do you have X factors right now that you'd be looking at on the Bills side of things?
I like the guys that you picked for Buffalo. The other guy I would say is Jordan Poyer, who, again, I don't think he's an under the radar guy by any stretch of the imagination. But, I thought about a year or so ago that he looked like he was kind of on the downside of his career. He seems to have elevated his game the last month or so, where he looks like the Jordan Poyer that we remember. He's the guy I would keep an eye peeled where he's at on the field, because he always seems to make a big play at a big time. Yeah, I like the your call on Davis. I think he's really, really good. And again, we talked about Buffalo's running game. I mean, they have a really, three-headed monster, right? You have Davis, you have Cook, and you have Josh Allen. So I think all of those. The other guy for the Patriots that I'm not going to say was an X factor, but I would definitely keep an eye on for this week is Mac Hollins.
Ooh, very good. Absolutely. A former Bill that not a lot of people talk about in terms of a revenge factor or in terms of, why did you let me walk away to your division rival? This could be a very big game for Mac Hollins and one that I think the Patriots could definitely utilize. So that is an excellent one, Steve. Always can rely on Steve to bring the lumber, folks. He always knocks it out of the park, and I appreciate that, and I know you all do here as well on Patriots No Huddle. He's been doing it for a number of years, and we continue to look forward to that wisdom and counsel. Steve, we are going to predict the outcome of this game in just a moment, but in true Patriots No Huddle fashion, and as a nod to our good friend Derek, let's take a look around the league in 3 games that you're going to be watching closely if you're a New England Patriots fan or just intriguing games in their own right. I think the first one that we're going to have to probably discuss if you're the Patriots is Baltimore and Cincinnati, 1 p.m. This is at Paycor Stadium in the Queen City. Patriots are going to be facing the Baltimore Ravens in Week 16, and the Cincinnati Bengals have been one that I think it's come on lately. Maybe that's too late for them to make a playoff run, but they're playing high-level football right now and are showing that if they had a full season with Joe Burrow, these guys would be right in the mix right now for a run, not only in their division, but maybe in the conference as well. What are your thoughts on this Baltimore-Cincinnati game coming up? How do you see this one factoring out?
Yeah, Baltimore has not been offensively as powerful as we thought, right? Lamar Jackson's been banged up. He hasn't been able to run as effectively as we've seen in the past. And, that's taken a toll on their offense. We saw, even though they lost the game against Buffalo, they put up 34. The Cincinnati put up 34 points on the Bills defense. And we've been talking about how good the Bills defense is and the fact that Cincinnati was able to put up 34 points on them. That says a lot for the factor that Joe Burrow has now. He won't be with with the services of T. Higgins this week because he once again is in concussion protocol. But this is a team that can light you up. I think this is going to be a really intriguing game. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I'm going with Cincinnati in an upset.
Hey, I like it. Patriots fans will like it too because that'll mean that you're catching the Baltimore Ravens potentially on the downswing. I'll play devil's advocate. I think the Ravens are able to right the ship. I think they're going to be able to hold off the Bengals. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think it's going to be a very close one. But this game could reveal a lot about the Baltimore team that the Patriots are going to face here in 2 weeks. Some are even saying this may be a tougher test for New England than Buffalo because it's in Baltimore and because Lamar Jackson can hurt you in so many different ways. But the Ravens have not been the Ravens this year, and there are a lot of reasons for that. And I think that if the Bengals can exploit some areas that the Patriots can really take advantage of, this could be a blueprint for how to make a visit to Inner Harbor there in Baltimore a little bit more pleasant for the New England Patriots in another couple of weeks. So, folks, let us know what you think of the Baltimore and Cincinnati game. I hate to do it. I know it doesn't directly affect the New England Patriots this week, but the Chargers and the Chiefs are going to hook it up at 1 p.m. at Arrowhead.
These are the games
Is this the final last gasp effort for the defending AFC champions to try to salvage their dynasty? They're all but eliminated, but as Lloyd Christmas would say, you're telling me there's a chance. Until they're mathematically eliminated, you cannot slay the dragon. Do the Chargers have enough in their arsenal to do it this week?
The Chargers have been that team.
as far back as the earliest days of the Patriots dynasty with Brady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every year people would say, no, the Chargers are absolutely loaded, and then they would always disappoint. This is a game that in years past, I would say, absolutely, the Chargers are going to spit the bit. But again, Kansas City is not the same team that we've seen in the past, and there's a reason they're 6-7 right now. They have not been very good. I think that, again, I'm not going to discount the Chiefs completely because, until somebody puts a stake in their heart, you're always going to assume that they're going to play well. But again, maybe it's just a homer in me that I want to see them fail. I'm going to go with the Chargers here this week. I'm going again. I think Kansas City will probably end up, even though they're 3 games behind them in the standings. I think Kansas City will probably be favored. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. And I haven't seen the latest line, so I don't know exactly who is up, who is down in this game. But I will say this. Until that team is actually Kansas City is favored by 4.5 in this game. I just saw that. So you are correct in that. It would be an upset for the Chargers to pull this one off. And look, I know a lot of people are looking at this game and saying, well, why would you not go with a game that, more impacts the Patriots? They're going to play the Jets. The Jets and the Jaguars are right there, or, with the Dolphins and Steelers coming up this week. But it's always intriguing storyline when the Super Bowl champion, or the defending AFC champion, and a team that's won several of the last Super Bowls is on the ropes. We've been on the opposite end of that when the New England Patriots had their stumbles and everybody wanted to write the epitaph for the franchise. Of course, there's a gentleman that wore 12 up here for a number of years that would never let that happen, and he didn't under his watch. That team always made the playoffs, and whether you loved him or hated him and whether they bowed out early, he was not about to take a seat before the playoffs started. So in that respect, you got to be very mindful of what this game means for Kansas City and what it means for the Chargers. I do think the Chargers have enough in their arsenal to do it. I picked them for the upset this week as well. The final game before we predict the Patriots game this week, Steve, I don't know how you can't be intrigued by Grandpa Phil, I guess you want to call him now, calling signals down in Indianapolis. It was heartbreaking for Colts fans to see Daniel Jones and the season that he's having go down with the torn Achilles. You never want to see injuries of that type. Certainly wish him well. And I do feel bad for Daniel because he was having a great season. And Indy being up at the top and being in contention for those spots, it's always fun if you're a Patriots fan to see the horseshoe on the other side. But Phillip Rivers coming in now. It's been a long time since this guy's seen NFL action. Joe Flacco laid the foundation for a gentleman over 40 coming in off the bench and making an impact. That Seattle defense, though, is now starting to play at another level. They've really brought the Legion of Boom back in and reincarnated them. How do you see this one shaking out? Does Indianapolis have a prayer here to keep this together?
I don't see it happening. I mean, Phillip Rivers has been out of the NFL for, 5 years now, right? And, that's a long time to be out. And look, I have the utmost respect for him, but you're asking an awful lot, and especially going against a buzzsaw defense like the Seahawks have. I think that's asking quite a bit. I think Seattle just rolls over them this week. I don't think it will even be particularly close.
Yeah, absolutely. The Seattle defense right now is a throwback to the Seattle days where you loved watching that Legion of Boom every single week, and they continue to be a force and a factor in this league, especially in the NFC. I don't see it happening either. I covered Phillip a number of years when I covered the Chargers, and believe me, you will not find anybody that respects his game more than I do, respects him as a person more than I do, and I applaud everything that he's trying to do, but it's so hard to piece these things together on a national level, and it is going to be, I think, a difficult road for the Indianapolis Colts to be able to do that this week. So, folks, let us know if there are other games that you're keeping your sharp eye on this week. We'd love to hear what you think and your game predictions in the comments section on YouTube. Steve, it's prediction time. Your New England Patriots, 1 p.m. kickoff this Sunday, Gillette Stadium, Drake May versus Josh Allen, the Patriots and the Bills Mafia taking on Patriots Nation, the tables versus, well, whatever Patriots Nation likes to do. But all of these are going to factor in. How does this all shake out on Sunday?
Yeah, well, in the parking lots around Gillette Stadium, there's going to be a lot of damage to folding tables on Sunday with the Bills fans traveling to come see this. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring than the last one. I think the Patriots win 30 to 28. And I'll tell you, looking back a little bit of history, Mike Vrabel's teams in Tennessee, 6-0, coming out of the bye week.
Yeah, very good point. And I think a point that needs to be made a lot throughout Patriots Nation this week. The last couple of years, Patriots fans have had a lot of anxiety watching their teams come out of the bye, and they came out listless. They came out playing fundamentally unsound football. You worry about these. And I've talked about this several times, Steve, including right here on No Huddle earlier this year, where I said two of the most important games of the season for the Patriots are going to be the Giants game before the bye and the Bills game coming back from the bye, because you want to see how the team's going into a bye week and how they come out. They played as hard and as spirited football as you could possibly play against the Giants for 4 quarters and did not let up. They didn't look like a team that even wanted to come off the field, and they knew they were going on a break. I think they come back with that same enthusiasm. I think the Patriots give the Bills all they can handle in this one, and I think the Bills give the Patriots all they can handle in this one. I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out affair on Sunday at Gillette Stadium. I'm going with the Patriots in this one. I'm going to go with a final score of 27-24 over the Buffalo Bills. I think they pull it out, and I think it's once again a razor-thin margin, and I think the Patriots take home their hats and T-shirts. Folks, once again, we want to hear what you think of this game. We want to hear your game predictions. We want to hear what you think, what we should be watching. Is there something we forgot today? Let us know in the comments section on YouTube. We're always happy to interact with you, and we'll read a few of them post-game when we join you after the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills here on Sunday to break it all down and to give you the very latest when it comes to the Pats from Foxborough. But in the meantime, I want to give a tip of the cap to my good friend Steve Balestrieri, my Patriots paisan, for always being there as a tremendous host and a tremendous table setter when it comes to the hospitality that he provides here on Patriots No Huddle. We also want to give a major shout out to our boy Derek Havens, who will be back shortly, folks. Keep a sharp eye. The triumvirate at Patriots No Huddle will once again be full before you know it. Steve, before we leave, any parting words of wisdom for Patriots Nation in this one?
Yeah, again, we look forward to getting Derek back. He's had a lot on his plate lately, and we hope that all that will come to an end and we get him back here. So, as you said, the three amigos can be back here. And we want to thank all of our listeners and watchers here on, YouTube for making us one of your stops during the day. We have quite a few live listeners. We really appreciate that. And, if you guys have any questions that you'd like for us to read, we'd like to do a special, maybe, mailbag, podcast where, especially with the playoffs coming up right around the corner, what people want to talk about. So if you can do that. And finally, I just wanted to say, I don't consider myself an argumentative person, but apparently my family thinks I am because they bought me this. And it's actually backwards on the screen, but it says, "Of course I'm right. I'm Steve." I don't think I'm argumentative, but
no, you're definitely not argumentative. but you're always right in your wisdom and counsel, so it is very appropriate. So regardless of whether it's argumentative that brought out the T-shirt, it's still something. True, and you can wear it. And we give you dispensation in order to be able to do that. So you can definitely check out Steve's always right, never wrong opinions here on Patriots No Huddle. You can check out some of my words of wisdom, the occasional tongue fumble. I try to keep it together, folks, but we always appreciate all of your feedback, and we always appreciate your support of Patriots No Huddle. And before we sign off today, just want to let everyone know on behalf of the Patriots No Huddle family that we extend our thoughts, our prayers, our deepest condolences to former Patriots running back Kevin Falk, his wife Letitia, and their entire family. Unspeakable tragedy over the weekend. Tanasha Falk, Kevin's daughter, 30 years old, passed away over the weekend. At the time, we do not have a cause of death that has not been reported. The New York Times reporting that she passed away at the Ochsner Lafayette Medical Center in Lafayette, Louisiana. Obviously, the Falks are a pillar in the community of LSU and also Louisiana where they live. We can all remember the tragedy that they experienced just a few years ago in September 2021, their daughter Kevion passing away at the age of 19. Losing a parent is the most scary and the worst tragedy that any parent can ever imagine, that any human being can ever go through. For the Falks now to lose 2 in 4 years is completely unspeakable. There are no words that'll ever do that justice, but from our family to theirs, we definitely wish the Falks as much condolences, as much comforting thoughts, and our well wishes and prayers continue to be with them during this extremely difficult time. Steve, you and I have covered Kevin for a number of years up here as a player, as a Hall of Famer, and one of the great guys that you'll meet in any walk of life. I feel so terribly for the family right now.
Yeah, super guy. He's one of the nicest guys that we ever had the opportunity to cover. I know both of us were there the night that he was, enshrined in the Patriots Team Hall of Fame, and we got to talk with him, and it was just awesome. And I feel so bad for his team, for his family, excuse me. Losing 2 children is unbelievable. I can't imagine what they're going through.
Absolutely. And again, folks, really allows you to take a step back and appreciate every gift that you're given in this life, regardless of your beliefs in how you obtain the blessings that you have. Never take them for granted. Never miss an opportunity to tell those around you how much they mean to you and how much they love you and how much you love them. That really is, I think, something that would spell so well for so many of the problems that we have in today's society. Spread a little more love and a little more appreciation to everyone, because we are all in this together, whether we think about it or not. And it's, again, a harsh reminder of the difficulties that some can endure at any time of the year, but especially during the holidays. Our thoughts continue to go out to the Falks during this difficult time. Steve, once again, thank you for joining me here today. Thank all of you for joining us here today on Patriots No Huddle. For the great Steve Balestrieri, I'm Mike D'Abate, reminding you all to stay safe, to stay well, and to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you back here again next time on Patriots No Huddle.